so much for joining us today for day 2 of our Youth in Buddhism series hosted by North America Sakyamala Foundation. Yesterday was the first day of our talk series where we had His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche, who engaged with the youth on the theme of survival, contextualizing Tibetan youth and their complexities. To provide a brief recap of that conversation, we covered a range of topics relevant to the experiences of Tibetan youth, including our struggles with mental health, the contradictions of being a Buddhist in the West, the spiritual disconnect, managing the stress of living in the digital age of social media, and dealing with death through a Buddhist perspective. We would like to thank His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche for an enriching discussion that left so many of us feeling so encouraged and inspired. The theme for today's talk is Thrival, Resilience and Flourishment of Tibetan Youth. Similar to yesterday, the topic for today's conversation were developed from our youth participants through the registration form. Some of those topics include why Buddhism matters and how we can practice it in our lives. Today's programming will follow this agenda. Starting with introductory remarks by His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche, followed by some time for discussion. The program, again, will be in English. However, participants are welcome to ask their questions in either English or Tibetan. We are so grateful to have His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche join us for the conversation today. Avikrita Rinpoche is a leading figure in the new generation of Sakya scholars, practitioners, and teachers. He founded the Maharishi Fellowship to coordinate community welfare projects. He is the head Lama of the Sakya Monastery of Tibetan Buddhism in Seattle, as well as the Sakya Heritage Society in New Delhi. Rinpoche is also the author of the book titled Wake Up to What Matters. Please welcome His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche for introductory remarks.
So, first of all, I would like to say, everyone. Yeah. Before I start the talk, 2 months ago, Mukherjee asked me about this discussion program. And I asked him that if it was possible to make this into a very informal or casual setting, just between us having a conversation, whether that's a round table around with chairs, and so that we can just start from there. And I expected probably 15 or 20 people by that time. Did not expect to have a lot of people here, so that's not how I pictured all this. So, however, I will try my best from here, and I hope you feel very comfortable to ask any questions or make this as casual as you can get. And so the topic to start, what I would prefer is that, see, yesterday, mostly covered the whole topics on this in the paper sheet already. So, what I would prefer is if the questions can be asked now, at the beginning, so I have an idea of what I want to talk. And because, you know, I've been getting a lot of questions since yesterday. I mean, they were asking, Rinpoche, can you talk about this tomorrow? Rinpoche, what does this mean? Can you explain on this? I mean, gosh, I didn't start my thing. I mean, all the questions are piled up already. So I made some of the notes over here, but I would like to add on to that if there's any more questions, so then I can give the answer in one go. I mean, we can go back and forth, but I just want to save time and just make it clear that do that. So if there are any questions, please.
So if we have any questions, please raise your hand and we'll come by the mic and we'll collect the questions.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter. So my question is, in today's age of social media, in today's age of social media and an age of comfort, where life is much more easy than in the past, how do we keep a strong enough passion for life so to not give up on our objectives, on the future, on tradition, but also not live in misery all the time? That's the question.
So we'll keep continuing the questions. We'll maybe max it at 3 and continue there.
My name is Kunga. My question is, sometimes my parents suffer because of me. Then what do I do?
I think some of our co-moderators.
What do you mean by because of you? If you don't mind.
Sometimes I make a mistake and they get really mad at me.
Okay.
One more question?
Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche. My name is Tara Luding. I'm 12 years old. I recite mantras like Om Mani Padme Hum and Pradari Diri Soha, but sometimes I wonder. So my question is, how does reciting mantras benefit us? Thank you.
We're going to continue collecting the questions.
My name is Tanzania and I'm 18 years old. I have a big problem with indecisiveness and lack of motivation. And I probably have a lot of youth also have problems with indecisiveness and lack of motivation. So I was wondering if you have had some instances where you might have felt unmotivated and indecisive, and what advices might you have for someone like me suffering from those causes? Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to try this one back.
Folks, we'll continue collecting questions if we have any more.
I will ask the question. I just wanted to know how would you explain the concept of rebirth? Rebirth, yeah, just to explain it to you, especially because we're growing up in this so-called secular and scientific way of thinking. And yeah, it's about that. Thank you.
Hi, actually, my name is Tom. So I'm just wondering, yesterday we talked about the importance of having good intentions before we make a big decision in our life. They also say that the path to help is paying good intentions. So how do you make sure that the intentions that you have will clearly lead you to a better path, not somewhere really dark place?
dark place.
Hell.
Okay. You're talking from a Buddhist perspective. Okay.
So my parents feel like, obviously they're like immigrants and they're born in like a different country than me, so they have different beliefs. What are some ways that I can get them to like understand my needs as someone who's born like in Chige and who has different needs as my parents?
Can you repeat that question?
Sorry. So like, how can I get my parents to understand me in like a different perspective from theirs?
One more?
As a Buddhist, I do believe in reincarnation and doing good in the present, and of course being, living a better life in the afterworld by doing so. But I often sometimes have fear over death, and I'm just wondering if you can speak on how to cope with that as, as a normal human being and kind of what to expect.
I'm very happy with your question. See, 2 months ago, when people showed me this program discussion, we were asked to give a short address. And although the title was Youth and Buddhism, but the topics seemed to be specifically about culture rather than Dharma. And I must admit, if it's about our culture surviving, thriving, I would really prefer to talk in Tibetan. But we've been requested to talk in English. So today we will begin just by looking in about how Buddhism and our culture converge. Now, about this so-called complexities that Tibetan youth go through, here's the thing. It's not for me to tell you what they are. It's for me to hear and listen to what you all have to say. So, yes, I prefer to listen to them. However, although I just turned 30, of course that's not, you're used to that right now. In a month, I don't want to be like, do I count as a Tibetan youth anymore? And I do feel one, so we just go along with that. Because what I would like to share right now, and I'll go along with the questions and as much as I can, is what I personally found hopeful regarding a life as a Tibetan. Because although, yeah, I was born in America, in Seattle, Washington, but I went to India from a very young age. At the age of 4, we were a small little Tibetan settlement where we are totally spoiled. I spent there for 8 years, living with my maternal grandparents, their family. Mostly just to get used to the culture, the language, and the environment. So I was very, very fortunate to have that childhood. And the facility, the conditions in this area is very different from now. I mean, we have 2 channels on the TV, power cuts a lot, a 1-hour children's show to watch, internet did not exist in our time. Because back at the time, we're going outside playing. So, yes, we have that kind of, we have this, we get to live in our little oasis of Tibetan culture in total safety and freedom. Now, it's when we leave that oasis to navigate the difficulties and the pressures, the expectations, the temptations, and the goals in life that are going to displace from our homeland, and we really feel the impact of being raised in our own culture. So yeah, culture means language. It means the regional dialects, our cuisine, our costumes, our customs, our songs, our dances, and all of that. When we're displaced from our homeland, and especially if we don't stay in a contained Tibetan settlement, we are the struggle of not being able to live those aspects or separate, but maybe at home or at the weekends. So, because of all of that, we stop being Tibetan. We stop being Tibetan if we eat Cheerios or Fruit Loops for breakfast instead of Dharma, or when we wear jeans and t-shirts instead of chulos, or we dance to music like K-pop instead of traditional Tibetan dances. I mean, if that's the case, then our culture is in deep danger. I don't think so. I think our culture is much more. Much. And for me, at least, to me, what makes me feel connected to my Tibetan fellows, it makes me feel Tibetan to my core, that I'm living the Tibetan way of life, is that no matter where I am and what I do, is that our rich spiritual tradition, this spiritual culture called Tibetan Buddhism, the Dharma. Now, one thing I noticed is that traveling to different places and countries and the different cities where you have museums, they talk about and show the culture and the history. Now, a lot of the time, the main showcase of their costumes and things like that is about war, about their military history, like either colonizing or being colonized, those army uniforms, metal armor that you see in the movies, all of that. See, now that tends to be the emphasis. Now that is part of the world's culture. So is ours. When people think of Tibetan culture, majority of them are not thinking about army uniform, wars, a crown jewel being stolen from another colonizing country. No. But they tend to think, the first thing that comes up in their head is about Buddhist rule, calm, meditation, peace, compassion. And that's something that we can be very proud of. So our job is not to relegate the world's richest culture of peace and compassion into a costume in a museum. Our job is to keep that culture of wisdom. Keep that culture of wisdom that the world needs more than ever. To keep it alive, to keep it active, to keep it flourishing as much as we can. And His Eminence Avikrita Vajra always says that, and reminds us that that's on us. The future of our culture is in our spiritual tradition, all in our hand. So, Now, what's the Dharma for us as Tibetan youth in the 21st century? How do we keep it alive? How do we be motivated by it to keep it alive? So these are kind of the questions that's so important for us to think deeply and take it to heart. Because it's in our heart, it's in our minds that the Dharma is hiding. So now, if we go by the definition of the mind, just to be our brain, our ordinary thoughts or feelings, then we got a big problem. Because then we can only talk about promoting a conditioned happiness. And it's a dependent and impermanent basis for happiness in our lives, like our thoughts. We can imagine beautiful things and imagine things that can really make us happy. But a lot of the time, feelings grab hold of the mind and beyond our control. It can bring us in agony, worse than any physical pain. And we've all been through that, right? So what we call the mind is not just about the brain or our thoughts or feelings. There is no pill, there's no injection that can create true happiness in our mind. The only way that we can try to understand the true nature of our mind, then it is by the mind that we can unlock this true happiness. So we can say that although we have these incredible human brains, and although our thoughts and feelings can be very powerful, what the Buddha taught about the mind is something more than that. There is a flow of awareness. It's like a light that allows whatever that appears to be inside and out. So this appearance, this light, we cannot grab hold of it. We can't analyze it through a microscope. We can't find its home in any parts of the brain or the body. We can't see its color. We can't describe its shape. We can't pinpoint its beginning, its middle, and end. And because we cannot describe it, we cannot define it in any of those ways, we tend to talk about the mind in terms of what it's being affected by. Of course, that's not the mind itself. We're talking about the states of the mind being affected. It is being affected by impermanent conditions. So, and then there are these temporary clouds of the division and confusion. But then there's the sun of our Buddha nature. It's always there, as within us, as the true nature, as the seed of Sukha. And I'll get to that more in a bit, but basically what I'm trying to say is that this sun, this Buddha nature that we possess, it's not some kind of mystical gift that we have to ask some God, or it's not like a higher power. It's not something that some people have more than others. It's there between every thought. But whether we're good, whether we have done bad, whether we like it or not, that is our globe. Okay. So, coming to one of the questions, there's no exact word to translate Dharma to English, actually. Generally speaking, the Dharma means two things: the verbalized Dharma and the realized. Now, the verbalized Dharma is the teachings that the Buddha gave. There are many parts to it. One part talks about the best way of living the world. In here? So, yeah, one part of the Dharma, the verbalized Dharma we're talking about, is that it talks about the best way of living in the world. The moral way that allows us to live a life without the heavy, sticky feelings of guilt, of stress, and without creating stress for ourselves and others. And so that's one part. One part mainly talks about how to purify the mind. How to purify the mind from the disturbing emotions like anger, sadness, jealousy, fear, and so on and so forth. That's why we meditate. That's why we do mind training practices. Another part talks about the nature of reality for us to see directly. It's the teachings that we study, that we contemplate, that we meditate on to gain a deeper understanding of the truth. So now, here's the thing. The truth. I know this is going to sound very cliche, but the truth is what sets us free. Seeing the truth directly. And I don't mean like a hunch or just a hunch or to blind faith or to even being smart in a regular sense, but to awakened wisdom, a knowing that's beyond all walks and all stages. And then we are home. We've awakened the Buddha within us. We have realized the Dharma. So, the Dharma means the Buddha's dispensations of teachings and practices and the truth of the way things really are. Which the Buddha pointed out that it is the seeing of which liberates us from all suffering. So, yeah, looking into the deeper sense of what the Dharma is for is so important. Because we can say, yeah, I'm a Buddhist. Yeah, I'm from a Buddhist family. Oh, I'm really interested in Buddhism. We can wear malas on our wrists. We can put it on our heads. We can start going circumambulation Torah offerings and ring bells and do the flute instruments and receive countless initiations and empowerments and all of that. But if we don't have the deeper sense of is for, then big deal. It wouldn't make much difference from going to some weekend club that we go to. Learning all the rules, going on just to please our parents. So the Dharma is much more than that. The Dharma is something that can bring true happiness and true benefit for ourselves and others. So, the thing is, well, for me at least, see, when I was young, I used to think that, whoa, there's so much that I've got to learn. There's all these complicated texts, there's all these prayers, there's all these rituals that I have to learn, that I have to memorize, there's all these meditations that I have to keep on track. There's all these rules that I have to get right and so on. So, being a Buddhist
it's pretty hard. But then one of my teachers later on said this quote by the Buddha. He said, the woodlands are so huge, but we only need a handful of leaves to know the entire forest. Same, another great master from ancient India, Nalanda, called Nagarjuna, he said that we don't have to train a huge number of things to achieve our goals. We can just do it by focusing on one thing: compassion. And that really, that I found so encouraging. And that's the truth. We can focus on one particular practice, one like compassion. We can start off as that, but then slowly and more we start developing that practice, we can start to spread that power into other practices, such as morality, patience, generosity. Generosity was a huge, I love practicing generosity. I think that's how I started off in being interested in practicing compassion and so on. Years ago when I was in my village, this was before I went to a monastery with all this lifestyle. Believe it or not, I used to be in the ice cream business. Yeah. See, what I do is that me and my grandmother, we used to milk cows every morning. And 10% of that milk I get to keep. Not clearly like that, but yeah. So that 10%, what I do is that I put it in those bowls and cups, fill them with sugar, honey, and put the sticks, and put it in the freezer. There, boom, you got your milk ice cream. So actually, me and my friends, we started a shop, and we started selling them. And business was good. Most of our customers were for the months, actually. But during festivals, we call them fair, like festivals, carnivals, and so on. So in Hindi we call it Mela. I'm sure you've heard of this. So during that time, a lot of customers show up. So me and my grandmother, she gave me the milk, and then I did mainly ice creams with my friends, and we started the shop, and we started selling. Now there was this one point that a group of very poor Indian children came up, and they really wanted those ice cream. And they didn't have any money. So I felt very bad. I felt this, I felt very compassionate towards them, and I just gave it away for free. What happened was that they started calling their other friends. So more and more of them showed up, and I had to give it all away. Now I was responsible for this shop during that hour. And I gave it all away. And I felt so rewarding to see that the reaction, expression in their faces, that joy. Later on, me and my business associates had a big fight. They didn't really like me selling, just giving away all those free ice creams. So when I went back home, I was kind of scared of my grandmother, I was really prepared that she was going to yell at me for wasting all those ice creams. So I told her the truth, why I gave them away. And she hugged me. And she said, I'm so proud that you gave them away because you felt compassion. My grandmother was she did generously all of this for mantra and so on every day. So she was very happy that I did something in a compassionate at giving out those ice creams. And from since then, I love the practice of generosity, and I have this encouragement on top of that, with this quote of the Buddha that made me enthusiastic to practice compassion and to other practices. So yeah, that's how the business went down. So yeah, things like that, focusing on one particular practice like compassion, brings such a benefit, it changes, gives us such a big impact to our practice and our life. Now, if we go in deeply, we can explore with this ethics, with this science, with this psychology, and we can say that. But if we really want to feel the benefits of the Dharma in our lives, and if we really want to enable us to create a better world for the sake of those that we share the world with, then we cannot relate to the Dharma as something on paper, something in our brains separate from what really happens in our hearts. In other words, the Dharma is something very practical. It's never a theory separate from practice. So this emphasis on the practicality of Dharma is so important, because we can't just sit around waiting for the Buddha to someday float down a magic lotus and to just bless us and to wash away all our suffering away just like that by praying to him. Here's one thing that a lot of Buddhists have this wrong conception about the Buddha. I just want to make it very clear to all of you. The Buddha is not our God. He never was our God, he never will be our God. What is the Buddha then? Buddha is our teacher, the one who shows us the path, the one who showed us the path. He came into our world to point out the truth. He pointed out the greatest potential that we humans could ever evolve to. But it's up to each and every one of us to put what he taught into action. He said, whatever I have taught, not just how to liberate yourselves from suffering, I have given you that practice. I have taught you. Now it's up to all of you to walk that path. And the Buddha, as our teacher, our doctor, what else am I going to say? He's not like our taxi driver. If we want to go from here, from Toronto to, Winnipeg, Vancouver or somewhere, he's not going to drive us there just by giving us just offerings and dollars and so on to take us there. No, he's the one that tells us exactly, specifically in details, in the best way possible. That first you go here, then you take the 108, long road, and then you go left, and you take a right, and you get this stop, and you go straight from there. All those, that's what the Buddha shows us. We have to drive our own cars to get to that destination. And the one thing that I want to make this clear, and coming to one of the questions, if you want to sum up the whole teachings of the Buddha, the Buddha gave so many teachings and practices, like 84,000 and so on, so many, but if you want to sum them up into one simple sentence, is that the Buddha is saying is that you are a Buddha. Because we are. In reality, we're all Buddhas. Whatever he possesses or possesses, that Buddha nature, that true nature of Sukata, we possess that. We possess the same. There's no difference. Whether we like it or not, whether we're good, whether we're bad, that is our own light, and that's the true nature of our soul. Even this insect has that Buddha nature. So, what makes us different from the Buddha now? What is the one thing that makes us different from him? If we're all Buddhas, and if we possess the same potential, the same nature, what is it that we are here and he has attained that? One thing that makes us different is that he has realized he is a Buddha. We haven't. We haven't because of all these clouds that I just mentioned, all these afflicted emotions such as anger, jealousy, these obscurations, that all they're covering to see our true nature. And that's why we're stuck. That's why we're in this cycle. So that's why we meditate, that's why we try to purify all these negative emotions and afflictions and obscurations to realize something that we already possess. When you all become Buddhas in the future, there is no other place outside or any other place than the place where you're sitting right now. It's a realization, and from that we start to realize the true nature of mind and the way things are, and from there we are free. Free from all these chains that binds us to this cycle of suffering. That is what it is to be a Buddha. So when we're in a really bad storm, we run somewhere that we know will be safe, like a shelter or a house and so on. Similarly, when we recognize this crazy, violent storm that we're in the middle of, with afflicted emotions and confusions and so on, we go for refuge to the Buddha as the one who can show us a safe passage out of this danger. See, we say going for refuge. Now, going for refuge, it means it's an ongoing process. A process until we become our own refuge. That's the goal. Now, coming back to one of the questions I think was written, you might be asking, if the Buddha is our teacher, they just mentioned that he is our teacher, he is who showed us the path. Then who are these? Like, who is he? Who is Jimmy? Who is Ara, Jushi? What are these other figures? Why do we chant mantras? Why do we chant? Why do we ring bells? Why do we receive initiations? If our practice is about always focusing on the mind and within, why do we rely on all these outer stuff? Why do some deities look peaceful, some look wrathful, some look passionate, some have 2 eyes, some have 3 eyes, some have 1,000 eyes, some have 2 arms, 6 arms, 1,000 arms, some have a syllable tongue, some have Shiv, Hum, all these mantras of Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Tara Tutai. What are all of these? To keep it very simple, to answer that, all of these are tools. They're all methods, they're all support for the main practice, which is to train our minds. For example, some people, they practice Jinsi or Vishwara because they feel a special connection towards Jinsi. They find the sadhanas, they find the mantras very calming, and they practice that. And they feel the benefits from it. Good for them. But some people don't feel that connection. Some people think it's not doing anything for them when they chant the mantra or practice Jinsi. And in a way, that's okay. See, the reason why we have all of these different practices and deities and so on, like I said, method, tools, because we are all different. In terms of that, we have different characteristics, we have different inclinations, dispositions, and we relate to different practices separately. So like I said, some person who doesn't feel a connection towards Jinsi, that's okay. Because that person might be able to feel more connection towards Dharma. So that person practices Dharma because that person feels more benefit and feels that doing the mantra or the meditation, any of that gives her and him calm and more peace and happiness. Some people might not feel that, and they can go to Manjushri. See, we have all these different variety of practices for this reason. Some people might feel that all these deities are too peaceful, and they don't feel a connection towards them, that they need something powerful, something wrathful, something forceful. So they go towards somebody like Rupamasamba or Vajrapani, Kalachakra, to practice something that's forceful enough to actually get rid of these afflicted emotions and confusions that we need to refrain, we need to get rid of. So, and the practices, all of them, they're just tools and support for all of us. It's like going to a buffet restaurant. You know, in a buffet restaurant you have a variety of foods. Some people like noodles, they go for noodles. Some people like momos, they eat momos. Some people don't like momos, they can go eat rice and dal. Some people don't like that, they like to eat pizzas, like me. So, I mean, if you can eat all of them, gosh, good luck. But the main purpose is to get rid of your starvation. Similarly, all of these other practices have the same goal, which is to train our minds to be able to realize the nature of reality, our true nature. That's always been the goal. So yes, all of these are support. They're not real Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I mean, you don't, then does Jinsi with 4 arms, with all these eyes and floating, is he really floating in the air in front of us? No. They're references for our minds because we as ordinary human beings, we have not got to that realization, even a slight one, to understand the nature of everything. We need support, we need objects, we need references. So that's why we have all of these. To have an object to visualize, to meditate on. Last year, a Tibetan lady came up to me and she said, Rinpoche, it's not good to have a Buddha statue in the bedroom, right? And I said, why not? I mean, as long as it's some kind of deck, a table or shrine, why not? And she said, oh, I said, no, I don't know. She said, in the bed, I said, I don't know. And she said, me and my husband, And I said, oh, now I know. Wait, why do I need to know? So she has this mindset that that is a Buddha. And she also said when they do their business, what she does is she puts a cloth over the Buddha statue. Now I told her, okay, one, that's not a surveillance camera of the Buddha. Two, that's not the Buddha. Three, let's just say if it was. You think a cloth will block an enlightened being to see through? No, they are support, they're objects for our mind training. It's always been about that. So yes, coming back to the Buddha, so all these are one, they're all Buddhas. Just for our different practitioners like us, we want to have different visualizations and practices that can help train our mind. So that's what Buddha. Now the Dharma is the path itself, the teachings that the Buddha gave to go out of, get rid of all these obscurations and defilements and so on. The Sangha means the companionship of bodhisattvas who help us walk the path to truth and freedom. And that doesn't mean invisible bodhisattvas like aliens and something like that. No, we actually have living bodhisattvas in our world guiding us, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, like His Holiness Satyagraha Rinpoche, and so on and so forth. And many other way female and male masters. And together, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, they make up what we call the Triple Gem. The three refuges. So by going for refuge to them, and from the heart, we are official Buddhists. Walkers the way of wisdom and compassion that leads to liberation, that leads to enlightenment. So that's the whole reason why we go for refuge and what we as Buddhists are. We're all about. Coming to that topic, similarly to answer some of the questions. See, last week I was in California. I had an 11-hour flight from Korea, and the first day I arrived, I really was looking for it's been a while, so I wanted to go grab a all-American cheeseburger, vegetarian cheeseburger. So I went to a restaurant by myself, and I was eating, enjoying this burger. A few minutes later, a group of guys just came up who had their roller skates and some tattoos and all that. So then they saw me and they said, "Yo, it's one of them boys, yo. Yo, you are one of the Dalai Lama guys." Yeah. Also known as Tibetan. So he sat down with all these other guys and started asking questions. And he was saying, "Oh, so you believe in God and stuff, right?" And I said, "No, I don't believe in God and stuff." And he said, "So, but you believe in something, like
See, my girlfriend is a religious person like you. And I said, oh, I'm very sorry to break it to you, but I am not religious at all. Do you know the definition of religion? See, according to the dictionary, a religion means a strong belief in a supernatural power or powers that control human destiny. If that's the case, then we are not really religious, are we? So yeah, I said that, and he wanted to continue saying, but okay, what if I said that God handed you this cheeseburger right now? And I said, what do I think about it? I don't have anything to say about that. I said, no, but what do you think? Okay, if you ask me what I think, is that no, God or some higher power did not hand me this cheeseburger. That sweet lady in the counter over there called Cindy, she handed me this cheeseburger. But he was trying to get at something about what we believe in. So I said, okay, I get it. If you really want to, you see, for us, it's not so much about what we believe in. For us, it's what we do that matters. But if you really want to know, let's just say believe, what do we believe in? You could say, yes, we believe in this thing, this practice. We believe this concept of karma. That good, the things that we do, good or bad or neutral, produces results that matches the cause. So we try to live by that model. In the similar way, because we believe, have this belief through cause and effect, we also have this, we believe, the premise of rebirth, of previous life and afterlife. So he had the same question about how do you prove that there is an afterlife or a previous life and the karma actually does really bring that result. Now, I'll answer the same way that I am to him and over here, because I can, yeah, sure, we can get into the details about the logical reasoning of cause and effect and how it relates to previous life and afterlife. But what I answered him, and I'll answer the same way here, is that does it matter? Does it really matter that there is really to prove that there is a previous life or afterlife? Does it really matter that karma, bad or good, does really bring those results? Because as long as with that moral way of belief that makes us a better human being, spread that love to others, and to create a better world for others, then does it really matter? Because this practice, whatever it is, it's up to you to live and to check yourself if it really does changes your life and brings more joy and calm and makes you a better person. Because everything that the Buddha taught is never for us to believe just because he says so, or just because it's written. But it's up to us to analyze and to check through our own investigation, through our own human intelligence and scientific outlook, through our own human experience. Because it does. And that's why we do these practices, and not because of it's written, but because we analyze it through our own investigation. To be 21st century Buddhists, as his name was always mentions. That's what this is all about. So, yeah, even if we look at sacred verses or listen to amazing teachings and so on, it's hard to really mature our minds if our emotions are all over the place. I mean, it's not always when we're in a complete wreck with rage or desire. It can be just when we're, zoning out, when we are distracted, uptight, stressed, when we have lost perspective and clarity, because those clouds of confusions and so on, those tensions have overwhelmed us, they have covered it over again. So what can really help us to come down from all those difficult feelings to a calm and grounded state of being is mindfulness and vigilance. Now, mindfulness, it's like a cool, amazing energy that we find that gives our calm, that gives our confidence, our clarity, our continuity, a stability. Vigilance is like its twin. It's the aspect of our awareness that keeps these disturbing emotions at bay. So, one of the many ways we practice mindfulness, and this is something that I wanted to share with all of you, because the same question can apply to many of the struggles, whether it's when we're feeling disheartened or discouraged or feeling sad, fear, anger, annoyed, caused by any kind of action from the outside. So this is one of the that I find effective practices that can change this whole thing around. And this is it's a practice on mindfulness. And it's a practice on mindfulness and vigilance that we need both together. And it's basically following the flow of the breath in and out through our whole body. Now you can sit comfortably however you want, on a chair, on a cushion, cross-legged, as long as you're not too tight, not too loose, or just balance it. And just follow that flow of the breath in and out through your whole body, up and down. Because the majority of people in our world are stuck up here, dissociating what we really feeling down here, dissociating what we really feeling in the here and now. So this practice is what I feel that brings us back and gives us back our territory, gives us back our ground. Because we are dissociating what we're really feeling down in the here and now, and what we really, to a whole body. See, most people, when they think of meditation, they think it's all about here. That is a mistake. See, when we meditate to our whole body, our whole being. So when we first try this, just follow the breath in, out. What this does, it's not a body scanner. When we first try it might not make any sense. We might not feel certain things. We will notice uncomfortable bits in the body. Physically, I mean. Now, people are different. When they try this, some people feel highly charged and blocked in the solar plexus. Some people feel numb, cold, the lower back. Some people feel armored around the chest, twisted and tight the neck and shoulders. People are different. They feel different things and different uncomfortable bits. Now that's the whole process. See, those uncomfortable bits in your body, they're all part of an emotion. It could be anger, it could be fear, it could be jealousy, it could be pride, ego, stress, sadness, all of those afflicted and disturbing emotions. And then that's caused by something that's happened to you in your life in the past. The problem there is that most people, we are scared to feel. And because we are scared to feel, we try to ignore. And the more you ignore it, it doesn't make it go away. It just piles up. Like a balloon just grows bigger and bigger, and one day, that balloon's gonna pop. So before it pops, we should try to be aware and to look into those feelings. So when we do this, it's uncomfortable. It's not our job to look into the history of those uncomfortable emotions and disturbing emotions, about why it happened and the reasons and so on. No, it's about being in the present moment. That difficult feeling, whatever you are going through, and to feel it and to recognize it. And through that, we are with those feelings instead of being stuck in them. Because then we recognize and we are aware that this is not part of my nature. You and your disturbing emotions become separate. So we don't end up reacting, we respond. Because all these disturbing emotions, they're not part of our true nature. They're temporary clouds, they're temporary stains. Temporary stains that we can get rid of. See, for example, this table. Now, the dust on this table and the table itself, are they one nature? If they were one, we are not going to be able to wipe that off because it's part of this nature. But because we know that this dust and this table are not one nature, we know they're separate, then we try to rub it off and wipe it clean. Similarly, if all these emotions, anger, jealousy, fear, and all of them are part of our true nature, this whole thing is a waste of time. Dharma is a waste of time. But because they are not who, they don't define us who we are, they're not part of our nature, recognizing that, being aware of that, we start to let them go. So recognizing it, feeling it. There was a question earlier, whether it was from here or there, or here. See, what do I do when I feel angry? When I feel angry. Now here's the shocking thing about it. In order to get rid of the anger, for example, you need to feel the anger. There's a huge difference between feeling anger and being angry. Being angry means you are controlled by this disturbing emotion and you react to it by hurting yourself and others. See, the Buddha called these emotions demons. Because it's like a demon, when they possess humans, they end up uncontrollably hurt themselves and others. Similarly, when these demons of emotions start to take control over us and we let them, we end up hurting ourselves and others. Just but feeling them, recognizing that this is what anger feels like, this is what jealousy is, this is what sadness is, and this is not a pleasant feeling. But they're not part of my nature. They're just temporary. I can breathe through all of this. So when you feel those uncomfortable bits, through the breath of the flow, you breathe through that uncomfortable feeling in your body. And slowly, they just fade away. This is like it's not an inner body massage. Really, it's actually love and compassion. It's actually an act of kindness to ourselves. It's love and compassion that starts from here. Because if you don't have that love, you don't have that compassion and kindness to yourself, how are you going to be able to spread that love to others? So we need this, first and foremost. And the more we do this, the more we start to notice that our bodies and mind are getting more soft, getting more smooth, getting more open. And then we can extend that world, we can extend that light, that love to others as well. Even the ones who have caused us, who have hurt us, who caused our loved ones in pain and so on. They're just doing it because they are stuck in their own demons. And we recognize that. And once we are able to let go of those things from within, nothing from the outside can affect us. Whatever happens. So, it's a simple steps, feeling it, recognizing it, and letting it go. Very simple, but not easy. It's never easy, and that's why we practice as much as we can. So, right now, it might not be so easy to have that confidence in the Buddha within us. Like a lot of us, if we look within, we find a lot of feeling. We find a lot of feelings, and all of them are not the kind of feelings that we're going to be okay with. But the good thing is that this is where the Buddha told us to start. He didn't ask us to start by believing in an idea about the origins of the universe or some invisible force that's supposed to have created it or anything like that. He encouraged us, like I mentioned this earlier before, to open our eyes, to open our hearts, to look directly at what we are feeling, the here and now. So this general thing is something that I feel and I think is so important as a foundation for any practice we do. Any of this, or anything you see, or any activities that you do, I feel this is a foundation for all of that. Because to develop in the Dharma, maybe we want to explore the deeper teachings of the Dharma, to inquire about the nature of reality. But it won't be integrated. It won't go beyond concepts if we haven't opened the door of empathetic awareness. Maybe we want to learn to do how to do all these beautiful rituals and do all the chanting and prayers, but it could just be a load of mumbo jumbo if we haven't set our hearts in the right direction. Even if we want to meditate anything about awareness, attentiveness, or visualization, and so on, it will be a struggle to process all that's going on in the mind if we haven't got that mindfulness in our everyday life. So, yeah, life isn't easy sometimes. But if we put our energy, our trust in the foundations of wisdom and compassion like this, and then the potential of positive changes in our lives are really amazing. And it really does work. We can really calm the waves of the ocean and to discover really beautiful things between. All we have to do is practice. And this answer is similar to any of the other topics that some of the questions about whether you're discouraged and so on, because anything that causes us to feel these from the outside, as long as we have dealt it from the inside, through these mind training activities or practices, we will gain more confidence, more courage to be able to get even more motivated because we're calm and clear, and the path makes it so clear to recognize that this path will bring us to that goal that we hold. So, now when I say practice, it's not all about what goes on in our inner world. See, according to the Dharma, our inner world and outer world are interdependent. So if we're awakening love, compassion, wisdom, and so on, it has to express itself. We have to dream out loud. So, and we, allow me to say we are the generation that has to act, and act now to create changes inside and out. If we keep and use the resources of the Dharma that we have in our dreams to really feel, to come true. Coming back to one of the questions, about death. So, see, just the word death, it instantly conjures up an uncomfortable feeling for a lot of people. But in the Dharma, death is something that we're encouraged to bring to the forefront of our minds every day, constantly, not to feel gloomy or grieving, but to awaken to reality, to really make the most of our precious human life. And through that, we will not be panic-stricken or anguished at a time of death, but we will sustain the attentive presence that we need to recognize the nature of the life. So yeah, life is about death and impermanence. But in this life, we can realize transcendence. Something that's beyond birth and death. What time is it? Right. Oh, I'm very sorry. A few words. Just want to conclude this. See, looking around at this gathering today and yesterday, or whether it's the Sakyamanam or any festival or His Holiness Dharma's birthday, and so on, it's something that always makes me happy. It's something that I feel uplifted and moved to share. It's such an expression of our spiritual and cultural freedom as we're able to experience it right here and enjoy it. And I'm always particularly moved during such occasions as I'm reminded of the immense hardships, the energy, the love, the sacrifice that so many Tibetans have given. And by His purpose, the Dharma, especially, so that we can experience it and enjoy the full experience and expression of what it is to be Tibetan without constraint. So, although it's a very joyful gathering to come together, auspicious, to come together and do all of this, but still, I want to admit that there's still something a bit heavy, that there's a background for all of us, which is something that any displaced people are present with every day. The awareness of the loss, the tragedy, and the pain that all of our families have experienced in having to preserve this rich spiritual tradition and this culture that, outside of our homeland. So I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge this because it's such an awareness that must inspire, if not compel, the younger generation of Tibetans, like myself, to take seriously the continuation, the preservation of Tibetan language, spirituality, culture, and so on and so forth. And what is holiness? And our parents, our grandparents, and all our compatriots of yesterday have handed down to us a very precious inheritance that we must not let it go to waste. In fact, we all need to feel proud of who we are. And His Holiness has said this again and again, and even more in the last few years, that His hope is in the younger generations. And not just for the Tibetan community, actually, but across the globe in tackling the great unresolved issues of our time: social injustice, human rights, dignity, poverty, environment, corruption, and conflict, and so on. For example, like with an issue of the environment. See, once a Tibetan parent, a family, I've seen the parents say to their son called Dashi, he started saying, "Dashi, it's your turn to take up the recycle. We're trying to do our bit here for the environment. Move it already." And Dashi over here is like, "Oh gosh, I can't. I'm in the middle of a Call of Duty. My squad needs me. Can somebody else do it?" See, Dashi, and we understand that, Dashi would be only too happy, game or not, to play his part if he feels a really informed sense of the responsibility for a concern, for a connection to his community, to his family, to his world. But nagging? Maybe not. But similarly, I have to say, I kind of cringe every time when, from the inside, when, for instance, some families come up to me and tell their children very forcefully that, "Run on, prostrate yourself, get living children." Like all those formal stuff, you know. And there have been cases where parents come up to me and say, "Rinpoche, my son is too wild. He just plays on his video games all day. My daughter is just lazy, watching K-drama all day. You know, they have no interest in Buddhism. They don't want to go to the monastery. How can I make them?" I mean, gosh, make them? How can you make anyone do something like, blackmail, handcuffs? No, you can't make anybody want to go to the monastery or make them do these, Buddhist practices. And even if you manage to make them forcefully to do all of that, is it really gonna, help their minds and help transform their minds and heal their hearts? And unless they really want to practice the Dharma, because that's what it's actually for. So, now, in such cases, we get it. We understand it. That it's never a bad intent behind it. Quite the opposite. See, it's the family's pure wish to respect and maintain their spirituality and their culture, or what they feel to be wholesome and noble, because they found it so much benefit. They found so much benefit from it themselves. But when we're faced with a world that is in constant flux, a world that is so technology dependent, so cosmopolitan, so oftentimes stressfully fast-paced. It's now more than ever that we have to support each other in positive interviews through listening and skillful communication. That connection, that's the connection I was talking about. The thing that if we're not careful, we can lose. So, for example, not so long ago, I had a couple of meetings with some young Buddhist children, which I really enjoyed. First time, we talked about the importance of kindness, patience, generosity, and so on. Then most recently, we ended up focusing more on Buddhist communication skills, on connections, and that was amazing. And it's actually a really important part of our Buddhist way of life, because, and especially for Mahan practitioners in the tradition. But I have to say, that it's a bit of a neglected part of our teaching repertoire. If we advertise a Lama giving our long life empowerment, it's standing room only. You'll see it tomorrow. But a communication workshop, I mean, I can see you at least have room to stretch your legs. So, it's almost as simple as, and I just try to echo it as much as I can. And I mentioned this earlier, that we need to be 21st century Buddhists in fostering a really well-informed, rather than superficial or lip service approach to our ethical and spiritual commitment. Similarly, I really want to encourage all of us to take connection and communication skills seriously. Supporting each other in the value of Tibetan Buddhist teachings and practices to truly develop a happier, a brighter future, a brighter world inside and out. So, yeah, so this connection is about really listening. It's about listening to and empathizing with each other's needs, about empathizing each other's feelings, aspirations, and so on, without judgment, without inhibition. It enables us, it enforces our ability to be more accommodating, to be more adaptable across the generations. So I believe those two approaches, connecting and being 21st century Buddhists, and those two approaches will empower the younger generation, my generation, I should say that, to honor our elders' knowledge, our elders' wishes and legacy in a way that feels fully cooperative, that feels innovative, that feels fulfilling in our lives. So in this regard, and because due to time, I have to apologize. I just want to say one last thing. And I want to say to my younger Tibetan sisters and brothers, and in fact, to all my peer group, is that although sometimes, of course, the lamas might appear be a bit remote on high thrones and so busy with all their teaching activities at home and overseas, but we are, from the bottom of my heart, I can say this: we are all here for you. And from my side, I have tried as best I can. I will do it, and I am here for all of you. There's no question that you can't ask. There's no problem you cannot share. No agenda, no expectations. If you want, or just listen. You can talk to me in Tibetan, you can talk to me in English, you can talk to me in French, you can talk to me in Italian. You can talk to me in Swahili, you can find a translator, I'll be there. Just know that I am here. And the same way, I trust in my heart that I can count on you. The same way as part of a wider Tibetan Buddhist family to ensure that that our heritage is safe and it will bring immeasurable benefits to the world. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for all of you to make this happen, for inviting us to this beautiful program, and I hope to come back again before too long. Thank you so much.
On behalf of all youth present here today and to all of the beings who may have in some way, shape or form have benefited from the two-day dialogue, we'd like to sincerely thank both His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche and His Eminence Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche for engaging with such openness and giving us this precious opportunity to learn the Dharma. For some, planted seeds, for some, for some, to learn the Dharma, planted seeds, for some, water them, and for some, actually many, reinvigorate our determination to continue on our path. This two-day youth series has been hosted by the North America Second Movement Foundation, to whom my co-facilitators and I are deeply in gratitude for. We'd like to thank you for their trust in us to curate this discussion. We initially set up our intentions for these 2 days to be identifying our complexities, naming them, recognizing our challenges, but we walk away leaving feeling equipped to actually tackle those very challenges, and also with a reminder that we are indeed the leaders that we have been waiting for. So, uncovering the themes of survival and thrival of our cultural practices of wisdom, we hope that this is a part of a beginning for many more series to come, where spiritual masters will engage in unconventional ways and young people everywhere, especially Tibetans, will continue to find deep confidence in their rich Tibetan Buddhist traditions based in wisdom and compassion. Hopefully, to also realize the truth, the awakened wisdom, understand the true nature of reality, and also maybe when we get angry to feel, recognize, and also let go. So thank you once again to each and every single one of you for being here today. Initially, we began this session with a quick introduction in Tibetan, so I'd also like to close in Tibetan. Tamadariya jodong bidena ya shuchuaji. Taringi mani ladia mise shugechi dilim polia Avikrita Vajra Rinpoche chona Asanga Vajra Rinpoche chona nabigiliya nigi shuge samalo chap shuge tujena shugi. Nigi zerim nigi so Rinpoche niya shuge tolia itina 제가 지내는 지사는 그들에게 쉬우래 문제기 성준아니야 쉬게 먹고 지금이야 화장이 팬하고 주를 쓰기도 네 뭔지 지금 네가 참지 뭔데 돌리다 주들 그들 제비네 벽에 나지 얘기라고 여기 합시겠습니다. 그래서 이제 저기 지금 내린 뒤일이 다시 물트는 수인에라 고치나는 많이 주의. 다들 지금 어떻게 좀 좋아. 지금 보면 진짜 좋아. 저 relation 그제 시작될 때부터 되게 대매타 요도 세고 만드시고 되잖아. Finally, just want to make a quick announcement about the exhibition. There is our exhibition that is open till 8 p.m. today. It will be open again tomorrow for folks who would like to check it out. And thank you once again for being here and being part of this.